There was a DNA mishap that occurred that resulted in my life being tragically damaged, family devastation that we're all trying to heal from. Not just me, my children, all three of my children, the child's mothers, just irreparable. I had started a relationship with a woman. I was head over heels in love with this woman. But 6 months into the relationship, I had found out that she was engaged to another gentleman. At that point, I had decided to cut the relationship off. About a month later, she contacted me and said, I'm pregnant. So at that point, I really I didn't have any words for her, because how could I believe somebody that was in a relationship with a fiance and also in a relationship with me? I decided to say, hey, listen, I'll forgive you, we'll move forward, but we have to get this DNA test. She was adamant that that it wasn't needed, but for me, obviously, I wanted to be sure. And I hired this company, DNA Diagnostic Center, and upon hiring them, they did a non-invasive DNA test, which didn't affect the baby or the mom. And the results had come back sometime later, and I learned at that moment that I was not the father. It literally said 0% probability of me being the father. And that, ever since that day, I've never been the same. We had called the DNA company after finding out the results, and these folks were adamant that they don't make mistakes. That was their exact words. It's etched in my memory. We don't make mistakes. Sometime later, I want to say about a little bit over a year and a half, I had received a phone call, and when I picked it up, it was a representative from DNA Diagnostic Center. He said, well, I would like the opportunity to speak to you. It's about the results. And I said, well, what about the results? I know I'm not the father. What more could you want? And at that moment, the gentleman said, you are the biological father of that child, which completely altered my mind for a second time. First, you tell me I'm not the father. Then sometime later, they tell me, well, we made a mistake. You are the father. And by this time, my daughter was already born. Another gentleman had signed the birth certificate. She had his name. She had known him. She had bonded with him. She had no idea who I was. So it was an incredible, it was something that was shocking to hear. And I knew at that point I had a very, very hard road ahead of me. And at that point I had another daughter, and I had tried to pick up the pieces, and I met a wonderful woman. Finding out that I had another child, she was completely devastated. That had ruined everything at that time, because she felt as though she could never be number one. She had a certain idea of what a family was, and it didn't incorporate having another child. And in fact, she told me, if I would have known you had another child, I would have never had kids with you. Just the fact that I knew that me alone, my voice was not strong enough. I knew that I would need some assistance. I knew that I was going to need help from a higher power, higher source, not just God, but just with the help of somebody who structured it, who laid it down, who delivered it for others. And that's what I got from Steve Arante and the lawyers at LTKE. Their point of view was they could not believe that I had gone through that. They were very compassionate. They were very understanding. Although it was going to be a tough battle, that it was something that they would be able to handle with their expertise, with their attention to the detail. It resulted in what we know today, multi-million-dollar verdict. Oh my goodness, extremely, extremely appreciative. I really feel that it was something that Steve did for me that I will always thank him for the rest of my life. My girls will thank him for the rest of my life, or for the rest of their lives. It was like a godsend. I do understand that it's his profession, that it's his job, but it really felt personal to me. It felt like more than a job. I wake up lighter. My children are, I have chat accounts for the girls. Their education is going to be paid for by thanks to the folks at LTKE, by the grace of God. Um, Not only that, but I'm able to be the best father to them in a way that I could put them in private school. Um, I can buy a home for them, forever home. I don't have to bounce from apartment to apartment anymore. It's structure, it's stability, it's everything fathers chase. I was handed that by LTKE, and I'm forever thankful for that.
LTKE Law, the lawyers you need when you need a lawyer.